you must remember, guys, you don't get a loss on the stock market unless you sell your stock. What I mean by that is the stock could be $100 today, and tomorrow if it drops to $60, yes, you have a paper loss of $40 a share, but you don't get that loss practically unless you sell that stock. You only have something called a paper loss, which means it's a temporary loss, right? If in 2 weeks that particular company rises again to $100, you are back in track, right? So you need to understand these things, because when the market drops due to certain pieces of information like this, people tend to panic. People tend to make decisions that are very detrimental to them in their long-term planning. So what I'm telling you is that this game is for the patient. This game is for those who are going to be patient, who are not going to panic, who are not going to rush. You know why? I feel blessed today. What an awesome day to be alive. Hey, if this is your first time on the channel, welcome back to the channel. This is the You Are Enough with Gustav B.I.Chu channel. And on this channel, what we seek to do is to go past your mind, right? Teach you different techniques and strategies to invest in yourself for personal growth, for profits, and also to build a lasting legacy along the line as you do that. You know, on this channel, we talk about life, we talk about money, and we talk about legacies. Now, a few weeks ago, there have been consistent turmoil, especially here in the US. And as you know, the US economy really impacts the global economy in a way, right? There was, first of all, the announcement of DeepSeeker. This was a Chinese AI search engine and AI platform that basically was going to cost a significant amount less than what the American companies have been projecting for their own AI platforms like Nvidia and all these different companies. Now, with the advent of DeepSeek, there was not only significant competition, but the fact that AI was going to get cheaper, and also that the American companies have been inflating prices. Not too long after that, there was all these air crashes, right? One happened in Maryland, with the souls of the 62 people who died, rest in peace. One happened in Philadelphia, another one in, not a crash per se, but some kind of an plane disturbance in Houston. And you asking yourself, but what is going on? In the meantime, Donald Trump is announcing tariffs on Canada, on Mexico, on China, and there's all this uncertainness, right? A lot of people are worried what is going to happen tomorrow. There was an announcement on the job market, how many jobs have been generated over the last few months. The jobs creation dropped relative to what projections were, right? Immediately after the tariffs, when Donald Trump announced that the stock market tanked, some companies losing even about up to 20% of their value. And you'll be asking yourself, like most people, what is the hell is going on? Now, I'm not an economist by any means. I'm not an expert on the economy or anything. I'm just a young, intelligent, I would think I am, and determined man trying to make a way out of all of this, trying to just use common sense and understand what is happening around me and take advantage of that and make some money on the stock market and help build a legacy for myself and my progeny. So when you think about this, what does it mean? I want you to understand that if nothing else, bet on the US stock market. Don't get carried away by all of this distraction. You see, one of the things people don't realize is that President Trump is an actor. Yes, he's a serious guy, don't get me wrong, but he's a guy who understands the sales game. He's a salesman. In fact, he's one of the best salesmen the world might ever see. Trust me on this one. It doesn't matter what side of the divide you are, but you got to recognize the man has the ability to sell things and be able to give certain impressions and try to back them up. You see, you need to understand something. There is no question about it. President Trump's record from the last time he was president relative to extraditing people out of the US or sending illegal immigrants back is significantly less than President Obama and President Bush and even President Biden, right? So you have to understand that context. But most importantly, all the things President Trump is doing are things that he promised his electorate that he was going to do. So he has to prove to them that he's doing some work on that. And in the meantime, that might have an impact on the economy temporarily. It might have an impact on the stock market. And a lot of people were running and selling their stocks at a very low price and getting massive losses. You must remember, guys, you must remember this. You don't get a loss on the stock market unless you sell your stock. What I mean by that is the stock could be $100 today. And tomorrow, if it drops to $60, yes, you have a paper loss of $40 a share. But you don't get that loss practically unless you sell that stock. You only have something called a paper loss, which means it's a temporary loss, right? If in 2 weeks the stock market, that particular company rises again to $100, you are back in track, right? So you need to understand these things, because when the market drops due to certain pieces of information like this, people tend to panic. People tend to make decisions that are very detrimental to them in their long-term planning. I am one of those. If you're listening to my channel and you follow me, you would know by now I am an investor. I am not a trader. I'm not one of those guys on the stock market trying to buy a stock today, sell it tomorrow, make some arbitrage, make some money. I don't do trading. Trading is only about 5% of what I do. I am a long-term investor, and I advise you listening to me to be a long-term investor. Because you know why? 95% of traders lose money. This includes professional traders on the stock market in New York Stock Exchange. These guys went to school to learn that. They do research. They are paid to do only that, but they still lose money. So there is really a very heavy probable downside relative to the big upside that it might be sold to you. I have done both of them, I can tell you. And the people who subscribe to my channel, who listen to me, I always share my opinion. I believe that most people will make money investing in the long term than trying to trade. My new book, The Seeker. In this book, I poured my heart. It took me 12 years to write this book. In this book, I'm trying to help each and every one be able to become a better version of themselves. But not just by the cliche way, but being able to uncover their purpose, learn how to invest in themselves for self-growth, to invest in assets for profits, and to build a legacy in that process. This book has 11 chapters, deep information. It will be worth your time, worth every penny or dime you're going to spend on this. In the description section of the book, hey, you know what? Click on that description section. You will see a link where you can order your copy of the book. And if you order your copy of the book and you leave a message telling me you ordered your copy from this video, I am going to do one additional thing for you. I am going to sign that copy before they ship it out to you. Let's get into the video now. So when things like this happen, when you hear news from President Trump that this has happened, or there's going to be tariffs, or this, the market starts reacting, make sure not to react. Calm down yourself. Calm down. Don't lose money you've worked so hard to lose. I know a lot of people who called me on the Monday after he announced the tariffs on Friday, and they were complaining, oh, Mr. Aichu, I've lost so much value in my portfolio. I want to sell. And those were the few lucky ones who called me before selling. And I told them, don't do anything like that. Don't do anything stupid, because this is going to rise again. Companies are not stupid. The stock market is not dumb, but it runs a lot on emotions. But the stock market basically is a transfer of wealth from the people who are afraid, from the weak hands like you, who get panicked because Donald Trump made an announcement and the people are reacting to it, to people who are patient like us, who are not going to make any move, who will just continue buying the shares of companies and index funds and exchange traded funds that we believe in the long term are going to deliver value. And I want you listening to me to adopt that kind of a mindset. Don't get caught up. Let me give you an example. In 2018, there was a market downturn. Remember? The market dropped by about 20%. And let me tell you something. This is what happened. At that time when the market dropped, Tesla was $20 a share. Today, Tesla is about $350 a share. That's about 19 times. Microsoft sold at $94 a share at that time. Today it is $400. That's about 4 times. Nvidia sold at $6 a share. Today Nvidia is about 120. That's 20 times more, right? Apple sold for $40 at that time. Today it's about $250. $40. That's about 6 times. Even the S&P 500, the fund that tracks the entire stock market and the US economy, at that time was like $2,000 and something dollars. Today it's somewhere about $6,000. So what am I trying to tell you? This is just 2018 and we are 2025. 7 years after the Tesla shares that were selling for $20 rose to $400. So what I'm telling you is that this game is for the patient. This game is for those who are going to be patient, who are not going to panic, who are not going to rush. You know why? Because it is even going to get worse with President Trump in power. President Trump is a guy who runs a lot of his policies and his intentions through social media. He puts up posts all the time on X, and you will see all kinds of panic on Truth Social. You will see all kinds of panic. Don't panic. Don't panic. The first thing is to make sure you pick companies that are solid and long-term winners. And by the way, if you are even just trying to learn how to invest on the stock market, you have no idea how to invest, or maybe you even know how to invest, but you want to be able to structure your portfolio in a way that will deliver you this value I'm talking about, feel free. There's a link down in the comment section of the video, down in the description section of the video, sorry. Go ahead and just click on that link. You'll be able to book a one-on-one time with me for 30 minutes. And now in that 30 minutes one-on-one time, we can go through some of the things that you would like to know and you're challenged with. And then we can craft a plan. And my programs are very, very affordable. So book that one-on-one call. Let's have a chat. There's a small fee for that, but I can tell you it's going to be worth your time. It's going to be worth your effort. That will give you a head start, especially if you're trying to start investing on the stock market for significant value. So what I'm telling you is simple. Always bet on the US stock market. Donald Trump is going to be there for 4 years. After 4 years, he's going to leave. Somebody else is going to come. Number two, don't panic. When you hear all this news, almost every week or 2 weeks at the most, there will be something that will create panic by Donald Trump. And the US stock market might react. It will react at different percentages. Don't panic. Choose the right companies. Choose the right exchange traded funds. And just keep putting in money into those investments. You need to understand that the future is certainly bright, especially when it comes to the technology industry. Tesla alone is coming up with new things other than just the Tesla car that they have. A lot of people think Tesla is a car company. Tesla is really a technology company. Cars is a significant part of Tesla's business right now, but Tesla is involved in a lot of other things. They're talking about robo-taxis, taxis that are going to be driving without the driver, right? They're talking about robo-transportation systems, even buses that are going to be carrying people in interurban areas, and that those buses don't need drivers. We are talking here about humanoid robotics, robots that are going to do work that people used to do for a fraction of the cost. And that is another conversation for another day. Don't be too panicked too about that. Robots are not going to replace human beings, okay? There is no question about that. I'll do some other videos on that, right? But you are talking about even breakthrough in medicine and research. All these things are things that are going to make this economy stay buoyant and stay relevant. So the next time you hear an announcement from the president, or you hear all this panic, the market is about to drop, you know what? When that even happens, understand that's an opportunity to buy more. So keep buying, keep investing in those companies, in those ETFs that you believe in and that you like and that you trust, because that is how you're going to build wealth. That is how you're going to build a legacy. And most importantly, that is how you also help to make sure your name doesn't disappear in the sands of time. So until the next time, be well, be blessed, and by all means, never stop being a blessing to somebody.